Welcome to Offscreen. This week we're reading Resurface by Pete Bridges. An underwater earthquake decimates a research crew working at the bottom of the Mariana Trench, leaving two survivors with limited resources to ascend 35,000 feet and reach the surface before their life support runs out.
Oh crap, we haven't even looked up this writer at all. I don't think he's really done anything, has he?
Pete Bridges.
Yeah, I have nothing. Nothing on his IMDb.
He has a Twitter and a Facebook. Doesn't appear as though he has any other credits to his name.
Well, good for him. This is his breakout success.
Yeah.
Genre-wise, it's sort of a...
Race Against the Clock, Survivor.
survival movie. That's what
Yeah.
I would call it. Yeah.
A good point of comparison would be Gravity.
Yes, I
With
thought
Sandra
of
Bullock.
that. I
mean, of course. It's Gravity Under the Sea is a concise way to sum up the movie.
Instead of there being no gravity, there's too much gravity pushing down on them from the water.
Yeah.
And they're fighting
Though the
gravity
gravity's
to
probably
go
the
up.
same.
Okay,
There's
but
just a lot of stuff
you know what
on
I
top
mean,
of it.
though.
I know what you mean. So
What else do we usually talk about right here?
Synopsis.
Wait, can I just apologize first that I know this episode is going to be late already because we're recording it and it's already late.
It's already a Monday.
Yeah.
It's my fault.
But I'm going to try and just post this immediately. I'm not even going to edit it. It's going to be rough and raw.
We're really not going to edit it?
If we don't screw up.
We've already screwed up.
Well, okay, I'll cut out that little bit of silence where
Okay.
we were looking up stuff
Okay.
about Pete Bridges. But other than that, this is going to be perfect episode, one take.
This is basically a live episode. You'll just be catching it on delay.
Yeah.
Which is really exciting. Not really.
It's more stressful than exciting.
So do you want to just hop straight into the synopsis then?
Sure. Okay, here goes. Josh Strand works for an ocean research vessel, probing the depths of the Mariana Trench. He's following in the footsteps of his father, Tom, who's also a part of the team, each of them piloting a kind of miniature submarine called a crawler. While attempting to install a monitoring device on the sea floor, a powerful earthquake sends the walls of the trench crumbling down on top of Tom's crawler. The hull is breached and the vessel immediately implodes from the water pressure. From his own crawler, Josh watches his father die. His co-pilot, a British researcher named Hannah, attempts to comfort Josh, but soon they have their own lives to worry about. The falling debris has damaged their electrical system, making it impossible for them to release their weights and float to the surface. Instead, they devise a plan to dock with a nearby supply station. It's currently planted on the sea floor, but can be lifted off to carry them back to the surface, they hope. The plan works until the rising supply station gets snagged on a sea cliff just a few hundred feet from the top. By now, Josh and Hannah have nearly run out of oxygen. Almost delirious, they make a last-ditch effort to save themselves by diving into the surrounding water and simply swimming to the surface. Miraculously, both of them make it. They breach the surface and quickly spot their ship on the horizon already headed their way. Maybe it's the sheer relief of being rescued, or maybe it's just the oxygen deprivation talking, but the whole ordeal has got Hannah swooning for Josh. Together, they made it. I kind of hurried through the romantic thing at the end there.
No, you hit it pretty strong with the last sentences.
I was anticipating your arguments against the script already. I don't know if you're going to be more negative.
Go for it.
I kind of enjoyed the script. I feel like this podcast, the tables have turned. I thought I was going to be the really negative one most of the time, but lately I've been the more positive one, and you're just pooping on things. And
Is that true? I don't think that's true.
I'm going, I guess, especially based on last week.
Well, that's because last week's screenplay was terrible.
I agree to disagree. That's in the past now. We've forgotten that. But I thought this was okay. It was interesting. It kept my attention. It read super fast because, point of interest, there are no description lines in this entire script that are more than a single line long.
Right.
Very
it's
strange.
A lot of action lines. A lot of action, right?
Yeah.
A lot of pretty technical, specific, underwater sciencey action.
Yeah, lots of sciencey stuff.
Yeah.
Can I anticipate what I thought your argument was going to be?
Go for it.
It's it takes place over a very short amount of time, and I think it's maybe too short of a time to justify the kind of emotional arc that they're trying to achieve with the characters. Like, his dad dies, and then he kind of falls in love with this girl, all in the course of, like, a few hours. Right?
I mean, yes, that all happens, but it's not like a normal situation. It's a really intensified, hyper emotional, hyper everything type of situation where these feelings, or just feelings in general, are like cranked to 11.
Amplified, yeah.
Amplified,
if you will.
I was trying to, but I couldn't
also,
get there.
For what it's worth, I feel like Hannah falls for him more than he falls for her.
I think he's maybe more level-headed about it, I guess, like in that moment. But you can definitely see his feelings for her emerging.
Yeah.
In terms of how he suddenly becomes like the optimist. Yeah. And the one that motivates them to not give up, but to try this impossible ascent.
Well, I think that was more her that did that. That was like a pivotal scene in the middle where they're like moving all of the supplies out of the supply pod and into the broken submarine because that is going to be stuck at the bottom of the ocean anyway. And they're trying to like lose some of the weight so that when they launch this supply pod, it'll float to the top even faster. When they're doing that, Josh suddenly locks himself in the submarine and just tells her, "You go by yourself. There's not enough air for both of us." But then it's her that really like tricks him into coming back, and then they go up together.
And a pretty badass move that is like, it's kind of shots fired at Gravity.
What do you mean?
Well, in Gravity, like, George Clooney plays the martyr, and it's like, I'll die. You go ahead and go on and live, Sandra Bullock. And she's, in this screenplay, she's like, no, I don't need your martyrdom.
Right.
We're about to do this together and get to the top.
That's nice. I didn't think of it that way. Because you could argue that it's almost more heroic of Sandra Bullock to have survived the whole thing by herself. But in this case, it's almost more heroic of her to want to do it with him, because that makes it even less likely that they are going to survive if they're together, because there's less air. So that is sort of an interesting sort of subversion of the norm there.
Exactly, yeah. And I mean, the screenplay, like, they make that kind of explicit when she takes him to task for, I guess, being kind of patronizing to her, even though he's doing it like with the intention of saving her life.
Right.
But I guess the part I was talking about was when they were taping their goodbyes and they'd basically given up, and then he's like emotionally stirred by the things that she's saying, and he's like, no, let's try this one last Hail Mary.
They have like a video camera, or it's on a laptop, I guess, but they're recording a video just to like say goodbye to their loved ones if they should ever find this video. And yeah, he kind of like stops in the middle of it and says like, no, screw this, we're going to do this.
No, he records hers, and then she starts recording hers.
And he like interrupts.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. And I think at that point they're like, I don't know.
Feeling the vibes?
Yeah, yeah, at least willing to like go all out, like leave no stone unturned.
Oh yeah, sure.
Speaking.
Yeah.
But no, I like this overall.
Oh, good. I didn't expect you to. I mean, I wasn't blown away by it, but I thought it was pretty good.
I wonder if it's too familiar. I haven't seen The Martian, but someone else that I just read compared it to that.
Okay.
And I kind of feel it's pretty similar to Gravity. Mm-hmm. I wonder if it's too familiar in that sense.
Well, I felt like it was teetering on the edge of two different things, where it had some like cool, I don't want to say action exactly. I guess action. There was some kind of action, and like the sciencey technical stuff that's much more like plotty. Mm-hmm. But then it also had the potential to be much more dialogue driven, and there were some shorter sections, but still had they were extended dialogue scenes. And I almost wanted it to veer that way more and just indulge in some of those more in-depth conversations about the implications of what's happening to them, their feelings, and
But I think that there were so few of those, they kind of hit harder because of it.
Yeah. Also, they are running out of air.
They
Which
also
it
they
did
are
occur to
running out
me.
of air, yeah.
It occurred to me at one point, like, they're talking way too much. She's like singing a song.
Which is a pretty great scene, I thought.
Really? That song went on way too long. I don't know the song. It better be a darn good song.
I listened to it. It was kind of wasn't for me. I don't know. I listened to half of it.
Well, is it a Fleetwood Mac song? No,
it's a Belinda Carlisle song or something like that.
Okay.
Summer Rain, and she basically sings all of the lyrics.
She sings the whole dang song, which again, if you're trying to conserve air, I think that's like the worst thing that you could do.
Belinda Carlisle, Summer Rain.
Okay.
But it was like a very emotional, pivotal moment in the screenplay when they were both reflecting on, like, I guess their lives, and you come to see the characters and differently than you had up until that point, I think. Yeah. Like, right, we learn like what Josh's life goals are, his like dreams and aspirations to just live comfortably and peacefully.
Right.
In Hawaii.
It was sort of an Office Space moment for me. Like, what would you do if you had all the money in the world or whatever? And he's just like, I would do nothing. Basically.
Right. And she talks about her sister and how her sister's getting married. I think it was pretty powerful towards the end when she was recording her message, and she said, and I wasn't alone. Josh was with me like this entire time, and we did this together.
Yeah.
And she said that to her family, and that kind of evinces like her feelings, at least, that her family was concerned for her in that respect.
Yeah.
And
wait, what do you mean? In what respect?
Like maybe they're worried that she's just gonna be like alone her whole life.
Okay, that's what I thought. That's what I thought you meant. Yeah.
And it's not overstated at all, I guess.
She should have been like, "Don't worry, Mom and Dad, it's cool. We totally did it, and it was awesome. I'm not gonna die alone." And they could make a video of that too. That could be part of the video.
Well, that's weird,
right?
It's probably not good if you're talking about oxygen, conserving oxygen. That's probably not the best idea. Here's a problem that I had with it.
Okay.
There's way too much of the author, the screenwriter, interjecting.
Yeah, that was one thing I was gonna say.
And it's
it's sort of like editorializing a little bit in the action and the description lines. Usually, you're trying to be very objective and just straightforward about the way you describe things. But yeah,
the writer commenting on what had just happened.
Yeah, a lot of it was stuff like, "Boy, you just have to laugh at luck that's this bad."
Right.
And stupid stuff like that.
Yeah, I actually quoted that same thing.
Yeah, it's like these things could have easily been dialogue.
There's just no that. I mean, that one doesn't add anything. There are others that say things that aren't written in other places. So
what?
So that you need to. They'll say
the dialogue.
The action line will say such and such happened. Then he'll say whether or not that was good or bad. And it will not be clear to the audience whether it was good or bad without that line.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I don't know what else to say. It's a really simple story. There aren't a lot of plot points.
They really
to it.
Get straight into the things. They start underwater.
A lot of people die really fast. I skimmed over that, but like there were 2 other submarines that also imploded.
Yeah, this movie won't be big in Japan.
The reason that this whole thing happens is because one of the submarines has 2 Japanese guys in it who insist on finishing their work, even though there was a small earthquake already, and they're all like, "We got to get out of here." They're like, "No, we got to stay. We can finish this," and that's the reason, pretty much the reason that they all end up dying.
Yeah. I liked how at a certain point Hannah became at the beginning. There's a lot made about her, like IQ being 1 point higher than his.
Yeah.
And she's a more inexperienced. I don't know what's their job really. Scientist, I guess.
Yeah, that's
broadly speaking.
Yeah.
So she's more. He has more field experience than she does.
Right.
And when they're trying to solve these problems towards the beginning, she may be coming up with an idea, but he's the one actually using his hands and like putting it into action, implementing it.
I didn't really notice that duality, but now that you mention it, I guess.
And then that changes at a certain point where she starts MacGyvering shit,
right,
to really impressive effect. And it was kind of like an interesting reversal of action.
Now, yeah, because it was her idea.
Because she had ideas, and he would go ahead and make those ideas happen.
Right. Whose idea was the bag thing at the end?
I don't remember.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
That was how they, like, when they dive into the water and swim to the surface.
Uh-huh.
I didn't fully understand how this worked. They had some kind of a bag that they, like, filled with air and used that to, like, help pull themselves up. And they also, like, taped a bunch of, like, blankets to themselves to warm them because the water was super cold.
Like, it's pretty genius, and there's a lot of... I think how technical the screenplay is, there are some, like, technical details, and I think
And there's a lot of math, you know?
Yeah.
He's, like, calculating how much percentage of the air is carbon dioxide and how many minutes that means that they have.
I think all of that lends an air of...
Credibility
to it.
Yeah,
both of those. And, like, competency, too, I guess, on the part of the writer and on the part of the characters.
Yeah.
Which is good and effective.
I didn't expect you to like it this much, and if you're going to like it, I still want to harp on the thing that I thought you were going to complain about. I do think it's a valid complaint.
Which is what? Too much emotional stuff happens.
Yeah, this whole thing happens in just a few hours. Like,
Daniel.
His dad just died.
Well, if I may.
Uh-huh.
And I know I may because I've done this 6 or 7 times before.
Okay.
But I'm going to quote Bob Dylan.
Oh my gosh.
I'm going to quote the song Brownsville Girl, where he says something to the effect of, "Those who suffer together have stronger connections than those that
You've
don't."
already used that same one.
I know, and doesn't it apply here? Also, I think I used it with respect to Passengers, which, again,
it was that one.
Like two people in an isolated space trying to live against impossible odds.
Yeah, I get it. Passengers, at least, that took place over the course of months.
Right, but I mean, here, they're not, like, getting married, like, they kissed. Like, and
she says, "I love you." She says, "I love you" at the end.
Yeah, because she's, like, oxygen, as he says, the alternative that he offers is that she's oxygen deprived, because obviously, and...
I can only hope, because, that...
Like, it doesn't end, I don't know, it didn't end in, like, wedding bells and...
Right. I still thought,
I mean, maybe, what would you do? Would you tone that down? Dial that back?
No, I guess I'm less upset about her than I am about him getting over his dad's death very quickly.
He's not over it.
He's not mourning it for very long.
Well, he wasn't given any chance in the screenplay to really mourn it.
He has other stuff
there's
to
a
worry
race
about,
against time, and he does though, because there's times when he's relating when they're talking about the riddle, the one that he couldn't solve, and he speaks of his dad in the present tense.
That's more like reminiscing, though, to me.
Yeah, but he subconsciously...
And I hate that when they do that. That's such a cliche thing. I don't know if this is what you're talking about, but there's a line he has where he's like, "Oh yeah, my dad has this great joke." Well, had, I guess. It's like, oh, please. Like,
I don't know.
Come on. That
didn't bother me. I thought that worked.
It's trying too hard.
Okay. I mean, you can't have him, like... You can't have, like, 3 pages of him crying, like...
No, but
he's got like 90 minutes before he dies.
I don't know.
To quote Ja Rule.
Wow.
In this race against time, you got to stay high, and he is high energy at the entire time.
I don't think that's relevant. Exactly.
Or probably what Ja Rule meant, but
no.
I'm so glad that this Bob Dylan quote and this Ja Rule quote aren't going to be edited out by you.
Yeah. I'm going to have to start doing that. From now on, if you're listening to the show, you can assume that he has cited Bob Dylan in every episode, and I've edited it out.
I would say that's true 50% of the time.
Okay. But it's always the same quote.
No,
and for someone who claims to be such a hardcore Dylan fan, you always start the quote with something to the effect of this. So is it the lyric or isn't it? Like, you don't even know the lyric. It's
an approximation of the lyric. It's hard to recall something verbatim on the spot.
Well, he's also hard to understand.
Not always. Also, I won't sit here and let you insult Bob Dylan.
He's done good things.
He's done great things. He's done the best things. That being said, I think your concerns are valid. I guess I would maybe dial it back on her part. Like, is the "I love you" necessary? Probably not.
Mm-hmm.
No. Is a budding relationship or budding romance, I guess. Fine, maybe. I don't know. I don't really have a problem with that. It's something that these screenplays often do, and I think
Yeah.
it's good. There's something that most screenplays do, I guess.
I think, maybe I'm a little jaded, and I always am hearing people say, or I'm reading scripts where I can tell that someone told them, like, oh, you gotta have that romantic subplot in there to really
Yeah.
fill out the story, so that it's an uphill battle when someone does want to put it in for the right reasons. I'm still gonna see it in that light, and you almost have to overcompensate for that, and really make the romance feel very organic and natural and not rushed, so maybe I'm overreacting a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it was too much given the...
It definitely didn't go too far. It was very
Right.
much
It's
just,
like two people facing death.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
I don't feel like if I was dying with someone, it would make me into them. I don't know.
Well, yeah, I don't know. You haven't died yet. You haven't faced
Right.
death yet.
I guess
presumably.
no one can live to tell whether that's true or not. But
yeah, I don't know. Maybe it came a little out of the blue, but I don't think it was too overwrought, so that it was a problem for me.
okay.
I guess. And I like the characters seem to be on pretty even footing. Like they're both shown to be competent, good people.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't get a whole lot in the way of backstory, but when we did, I think it was kind of effective in making the characters look at each other.
Backstory is a thing that I think is overrated.
Oh, I disagree. I like when backstory is inserted. I don't know where I'm going with that.
Don't say flashbacks, because I don't like that.
Just go ahead. Say what you're gonna say.
Well, wow.
I forgot what I was gonna say.
I just feel like you can learn a lot about a person from their actions in the moment that tells you a lot more if you do it well than a whole backstory could.
I like, I guess, backstory that, what's the word? Like glancingly
Okay.
says something about the characters that makes you think about the characters in the present differently.
Okay.
As they are in the present differently. But I think overall this was a pretty effective race against the clock type of scenario.
Yeah.
So do you want to get to verdicts?
Yeah, it's about that time.
Yeah. Go for it.
I hate to be boring and go straight down the middle, but I think it's just a consider on both for me.
Okay. I wonder if it's if it is similar to The Martian. I don't know. I haven't seen it, but I wonder if it reminded me strongly of Gravity.
Yeah.
I think I would give it like a mild recommend on the screenplay and a consider for the writer. Strong consider for the writer.
Wait, I thought it would be the other way around. You're telling me the script is too similar to something else. Why don't you consider the script and recommend the writer?
Because the script's good, though similar.
All right.
Maybe he can't. I don't know.
Also, I'm sick of you with your qualifications, like a mild recommend. I've complained about this before. It's one word answer.
What do you mean? This was my idea. The whole recommends like
you based it on doing coverage.
Yeah,
for
I
the
know,
script,
and you can do that.
Not where I was doing
well,
coverage.
Different strokes.
All right.
For different folks. If pressed to choose, I would choose consider for both, but I'd like to err on the side of strong considers.
All right.
So this is good. It's a good, quick read, I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah. So next week we're reading.
Oh, I'm excited. We're reading the new Coen Brothers script.
Yeah, Hail Caesar.
Yeah.
Comes out in theaters everywhere, most places at least, February 5th.
Yeah. And the log line, which is not very good, I don't think, but it's the one I'm taking from IMDb, just says, a Hollywood fixer in the 1950s works to keep the studio stars in line.
Yeah.
But I do know from the trailer it involves some sort of kidnapping, which is classic Coen Brothers, so I'm fully on board.
Starring George Clooney, Jonah Hill, Scarlett Johansson, Josh Brolin, Channing Tatum, Tilda Swinton, and many more.
Yeah.
You know what I hate?
What?
Click on that poster, the movie poster. This is just dumb.
What?
Wait for it. They have the pictures of all the people at the top, and the names don't align with the pictures.
Yeah, that happens all the time.
It's like has to be intentional, and it's so stupid.
I mean,
why?
That's almost the rule with movie posters. Yeah. You know what my theory is?
What?
It's supposed to be flattering to the movie stars because they're so famous that everyone knows who they are regardless. You don't have to point them out to people because everyone knows, oh, that's George Clooney.
I don't think that's it. I feel like that's a stretch.
Oh, they're in ABC order. Boom. That's what it is. I still don't know why that's important, but that's what it is here.
Okay, that's valid. Why not switch the pictures around though?
Yeah, good question.
Though they have less pictures than they do names. So maybe
it's just a whole mess.
Well, whatever. It's kind of not a good poster.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the poster or the other
too much
billboards.
White space.
Yeah, the billboards and stuff that I've seen. Whatever. That's not what this podcast is
Anyways,
about. We're done.
You can watch the trailer. It's on the internet.
Oh, we should plug all our stuff really quick.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So, ospodcast.com.
Yeah, ospodcast.com. We've got the email.
Wait, no, stop.
What?
Something more important than any of this. We had our first iTunes review.
Oh, yeah.
A guy named Andrew.
Yeah.
And it was wonderful, amazing. He is a personal hero of mine now. And we really appreciate it.
Yes.
So go back to whatever we were saying before.
Well, yeah, we're always happy to receive more reviews on iTunes now that we got the ball rolling. But yeah, you can find us at ospodcast.com. We have the email info@ospodcast.com. We're on Twitter at ospodcast. Am I missing anything?
You can find the screenplays for past episodes and next week's episode on our website as well, and there's a Google Drive there.
Right. The reason I want people to actually do the Twitter especially, because this week we were late, and I felt really bad about posting the episode late, and I desperately called out on Twitter, hey, it's going to be posted late, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But there are so few people following us that I don't think it got out there, and it's not what if they thought we were dead or something? They don't know what's happening.
They might almost care a little bit.
Probably
not.
Let's not flatter ourselves.
Yeah, seriously. But
it's a nice way to keep people up to date if stuff like that happens.
It's good. I mean, Twitter, and we can have a little back and forth on Twitter, too. We also have a comment section on our website, but,
yeah. No one's touched that.
No one's touched that, but maybe Twitter. Maybe Twitter can be another... Yeah. Not that we don't want you to use the comment section. We'll respond with more than 140 characters.
Yeah. All right, I feel gross now. We've done all the self-promotion. We should just leave.
No, there was something else I wanted to say. Oh, yeah, this is my fault that it was late. I wasn't available.
I wasn't going to say that, but I appreciate you.
No, it's true. Daniel's very punctual, consistent, reliable. Words that I wouldn't use to describe myself.
You were on a film set though in the desert.
This was in the desert. I got a little sunburned. But yeah, I'll try very hard not to have our episodes be posted late again. So,
all right.
You can count on at least Daniel and probably me. Which reminds me that
oh my gosh, when are we done?
Okay, we're done. But can we talk about Manchester by the Sea and how it had its premiere at Sundance on the 23rd or the 24th? And it's getting just killer reviews, and I'm super stoked. Amazon's distributing it in the United States, and we'll probably see it in theaters.
Steven, are you a tastemaker, would you say? You liked the script. You went on record saying this is going to be good.
I did. I went firmly on record. Am I a tastemaker? I don't know.
Episode 1, right out of the gate.
Episode 1. We start with the movie that's going to get Casey Affleck an Academy Award.
Whoa, no.
Whoa.
Calm down. Calm
Whoa.
down. I don't like him that much. But...
Whoa. I don't know.
All right. Now we're really done.
13 months from now, we'll have an answer. About whether or not
I'm going to forget by then. But
yeah.
I'm sure you won't. All right.
No. We'll also have 75 podcasts by then, which would be pretty great.
I don't want that many. Oh, you mean episodes?
Yeah.
I thought you meant separate shows.
No.
Okay.
No, you can't spin this off. We should probably cut out these last stuff.
Maybe so. All right.
All right.
We're done.
Cool.